Here.
Andrew Shushu.
Here.
Ryan.
Here.
Allie. Andy.
Oh, hey.
Joseph.
Here.
Jean. Okay. Steve.
Here.
Nick.
Present.
Kate. Here. Leo.
Here.
Rory.
Here.
Lot. Here. Rebecca L. Here. Rebecca S. Here. Veron.
Here.
John.
Here.
Andrew.
Here.
Elena. Here. Mark. Lori. And
Great. Thank you so much, Hannah. The minutes were sent out a few days ago, so, Ryan.
I move to waive the reading of the minutes.
There's a motion on the table to waive the reading of the minutes. Is there a second? Second by Andy. Questions to the wording? Discussion. All those in favor of waiving the reading of the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Ryan?
I move to approve the minutes.
There's a motion on the table to approve the minutes, second by Andrew. Questions to the wording? Discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? One abstention. Motion carries. We don't need to read them, do we? It's just opposed. Okay. All right. So we will now move on to public comments. Are there any public comments either from elected representatives or anyone in the gallery? No? All right. Seeing that there are none, we will move into financial matters. And I'm going to have Ryan explain a special circumstance that came up in our financial matters first, and then we will move into the grants committee report. And if you have any questions for Ryan, you can ask him at the end of his discussion.
All right, so I'm presenting a discussion of the request from the Student Athlete Advisory Committee for their Midnight Mayhem event. And the reason I'm presenting this request rather than Andrew or Kate is that they have chosen to apply to a number of our different funds. So over the course of the last week, they've worked very hard and they've put together proposals for both the programming portion of Cumulative Surplus, which they presented to the board on Sunday, to Finance Committee for Mid-Semester Budgets, which was on Monday, and then just this afternoon to Grants Committee. And PCF, yes. So they've had a whole lot of meetings with Student Council. And the reason I'm presenting this is that all those different groups have come forward with recommendations for this event, and we as an e-board thought it made the most sense to present all of those to you, and then have you as representative council decide A, if you would like to fund the event, and B, if so, from which recommendation you'd like to fund it. And of course, you can change the amounts of any of the recommendations with the regular motion process. So just to summarize the recommendations, and then I'll have some of the members of the group talk about the event itself. The e-board moved to recommend $3,000 from the program portion of surplus towards their event. Finance Committee moved to allocate $6,165 to their event, which is the full amount. And then Grants Committee moved to allocate $4,000 from Quarter 3 to their event, and PCF allocated $300, and actually haven't allocated, but have heard the request. But given the other recommendations, they haven't made an allocation. So that said, I'd like to turn it over to Parker and the rest of the group to talk a little bit about the event.
Yes, so the event is called Cougars Gone Wild Midnight Mayhem, and it is scheduled to happen on February 11th, which is a Saturday night. This event is meant to bring athletes and non-athletes together. That's the whole goal. It's going to be a huge event. We're having a half-court shot to win a car. That's our biggest appeal. We're having hip-hop perform. DJ Smooth will be performing as well. We're going to have free food, lots of prizes. We're going to hand out tons and tons of gift cards. So I know $6,000 seems like a lot, but pretty much all of that goes towards prizes. So just to get people in the room, we want to have as many incentives as possible. We'll also have t-shirts. We just came up with a logo that's very cool. I can send it all via email if you're interested in seeing it before it's released. So that's where the majority of our budget will go towards. If you have any questions about the event, I've pitched it so many times, I'm leaving out lots of stuff, but if you have questions.
on the table? Jean?
Where's the car coming from?
Oh, okay, so a couple years ago, we had, before I came here, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, they did a half-court shot for a car, and they also did one for tuition. So all you have to do is pay the insurance policy, and we talked to Mike, and it's $1,200, and 5 or 6 people are, their raffle ticket is drawn, and then they get to shoot for the car. So we're paying for the insurance policy, not the whole car. And if
Okay.
no one wins it, then it goes back.
Other questions? Kate?
I was just gonna say regarding the car, there's a lot of contractual things with this insurance policy. It has to meet a large number of criteria, but essentially if the person making the shot meets those criteria, the dealership will then provide the car. And that's the insurance policy that the students group planning the event will take out, is securing that contract essentially.
Ryan?
I can only speak for Igor at this point, maybe Andrew, Katie can talk a little bit about how that committee's felt. But, Katie, I'm sorry. Katie was just talking. But we were very impressed by the preparation that had gone into this event, by the thought that had gone into it, by the fact that this is an event that could realistically get 1,000 members of our community into the mall, that provides a really good venue for activities that night. The spirit of getting the athlete community and the rest of the students together was something we really thought we should support, and we just really like the whole proposal. And so we recommend the $3,000 from programming, but again, Andrew and Kate kind of working these located as well.
Let's stay on questions for SAC right now, and then afterwards, maybe we can talk about which money should come from if we do decide to give them an allocation. Or I guess approve the allocation of any one of these groups. More questions about the event itself, Andy?
I'm really sorry. I heard you say you're asking for 6,000 and who's recommending 6,000? Who's recommending there's like 4 different requests? I think it says 4,000 from quarter 3 on here.
Right?
Well, the full amount that SAC used on this event is $6,165.
Okay.
Finance felt that out of mid-semester budgets, they could afford to pay that amount, and so they recommended that full amount. Grants, in looking at the balance of all their requests, felt that they could afford 4,000, and so recommended that. So Kate can talk about that.
Well, and furthermore, they only asked for 4,000 from grants.
Yeah.
They asked for the full amount from finance. They only asked for the 4,000 from grants. So although it could be possible to take it out of the grants, that was not what was asked.
Okay.
Specifically of that, even of us, even though we knew that was the school. So.
And then finally, eBoard, looking at a $15,000 programming portion of the surplus, chose to recommend 3,000 out of that, if that's what you choose to do. So the total amount is $6,165.
And we do have finance, or business, which is regulated by finance, which has decided to recommend that full allocation, so that there's a proposal on the table. And Becca?
I was just gonna ask them, do you have a budget at all starting with this?
Oh, no, Student Athlete Advisory Committee is not officially an organization underneath the undergraduate club, so we don't receive funding. We're underneath the athletic department. So we have Cougar Pride Fund, $500 that we can draw from. Beyond that, it's up to Jen Collins, Sean Sullivan. But that's why we wanted to take this route, because we don't have the funds to draw from.
Thank you. Are there questions or discussion about the nature of the event? Jean?
Is athletics putting forward any money for this, or like helping you guys with any like co-sponsorship or advertisement or anything?
Since SAC is technically under the athletic department, then yes, I guess you can consider this event being put on by the athletic department, but technically, it's student run, we've done all the planning, we just told our athletic director, like, this is what we have so far. So it's all coming from us, but like I said, the Cougar Pride is technically the athletic department's money, and the 500 that we can draw from. Cool.
Other questions? Okay, so if each chair of the committee decision about how much money to give staff, if they could explain their decision and why they think that money should come from their fund, then we can make a better, then we can better understand which one of these funds we should be pulling the funding from, again, if we decide to approve the recommendation. So, and we haven't spoken yet, so if you want to talk about finance, then Kate, Ryan, and then Rebecca. I mean, but I can do finance, so if you want to do it, or and then perhaps Rory, if you want to talk about PCF briefly, that would be great. So we'll start with Andrew.
So starting off the mid-semester budget allocation season, we had approximately $34,650 to allocate. However, we only received about 10 to 12 requests. So there was a significant amount of money left over. And the money, but if money went unspent, it would just roll over into the surplus. So we figured we had the money, all in one place. So it would be the best, simplest plan. So we wanted to vote, multiple times and pull from different accounts. So logistically, it'd be the best plan. And I like, echo everything that Ryan said. It's a great, planned out request. They've been working on it for, a long period of months. And, they submitted an itemized request and everything. We know exactly where the money's going to. And the fact that they're able to, pull together athletes and non-athletes, which has been a major problem on for, decades. And I think this event will go forward with helping that.
Andrew, I would like to say that I think that the money probably should all be taken out from one specific fund and not be pulled from different funds. So although that we are saying that our recommendation is $4,000, that is, as I said earlier, because that was what was requested of us specifically. But we could bump it up to the full fund. However, in light of what I'm hearing from Andrew about how much money they have and how that needs to kind of be spent at a specific time that has already been established. And grants kind of is taking money throughout the entire year. I don't know if grants would necessarily be the best place to take the money from, just because we do have other requests that we get throughout the entire year. I know I'm supposed to kind of be arguing for grants, but my personal opinion is that it may not be the best place to take it out of. However, we could do it, and if that's what you guys kind of felt would be best. So,
I think the spirit of the grants committee is that they were interested in funding.
exactly. I mean, we would fund it. Is not the point that we would totally love to fund this event, but yeah.
And then, does someone from the board want to speak about our rationale? Right?
Well, we felt that this was exactly what the programming portion was built for. As big campus-wide events in years past, Gala, before it had a permanent funding source, was periodically funded out of this portion. It sounded exactly right. Again, we felt that because it's only $15,000 until the fund gets renewed, we couldn't commit to the whole amount, but we were also aware of how good of an event this was and how likely it was that other committees would step up. And so we chose to recommend $3,000, but kind of echo what Kate said, it seems to me as if finance is the place to go.
Okay. And Rory, do you have any comments about PCF?
PCF, they requested $300, which is the maximum allocation. We're going to have a meeting tomorrow to decide on it. I mean, it's not that much. We'll drop in the bucket, so.
Okay, so, alright, it sounds like we can sort of take PCF off the table for now since you haven't made any sort of ruling about it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Alright, so I would like for us to discuss which one of these funds we're interested in approving the allocation from, and what we'll do is, if you remember how things went down on the cumulative surplus requests, how we sort of took a straw vote and then sort of came to a consensus. It's not going to be that long, Andy, don't get me wrong. If we can just come to a consensus about which one of these funds we were interested in funding this request from, then we'll go through we'll start with grants and we'll go to finance, and we'll either vote up or down according to what the straw poll vote is in this this portion of the discussion, if that makes sense. So if you want to talk about which of these funds you're interested in funding it from, then we'll move forward. Andy?
Are we allowed to
Put packages on
put
board.
packages on the table again? Is that something that can happen at this
Yeah.
point?
You're definitely able to propose funding from 2 different locations. But let's all remember, at the end of the day, this money kind of is coming from the same place, so it's more, it's perhaps, I mean, with grants, for example, Kate's right, there is a finite amount of money in grants committee, so pulling it from there could mean theoretically that there is less money for other clubs, so that's a consideration to make. But at the end of the day, if we don't spend all of mid-year, it's going to eventually roll into cumulative surplus. So those 2 funds aren't extremely different, but the sort of the restrictions on the funds are a bit different, and the precedent is important to consider when making an allocation from either of those sources, because they do have different guidelines for expenditures. But at the end of the day, the money is coming from the same place. So, but yes, if you want to put a package forward, that's cool.
I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, like, because I guess I was thinking, because if we spend from, whatever we spend from programming now, because the programming is part of cumulative surplus, so it's just, it'll get replaced later when the money that we don't spend from finance go.
Essentially. So does anyone want to make a recommendation as to which of these funds and how much money they're interested in? Andy?
I mean, I think, take funding in full from finance seems to make the most sense.
Okay. Other ideas? Cool. Brown, sorry.
I was gonna echo what you said.
Okay. Can we have a straw poll vote then? So if everyone in favor of pulling the $6,165 from mid-semester budgets, can you stick out your hand for me? Okay, is that everyone? Everyone has hand up? Okay, that's definitely consensus, so that's what we're gonna do. So let's skip grants for 1 second, unless Andy has a question, yeah?
I was just gonna say I need to allocate $6,000.
Yeah. Okay. So, from where?
From, mid-semester budget.
Okay, is there a second? Second by Andrew. Questions to the wording, discussion, Andy?
I think we should fund this event full, I think it sounds cool.
Okay. And Andrew, did you want to make a comment because it's from finance committee?
I agree.
Sounds good, all right. Everyone in favor of this motion, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? No abstention, motion carries. Okay, so we have essentially funded the request in full, and this does affect
You guys know Jennifer Farley
the
works
request
from
from
3 years ago, she did the record shop, and this actually stepped up the line.
Alright, so we're gonna move into grants committee, and, if you would like to start making motions, that would be great.
I would like to move to allocate $2,500, or $2,100 from quarter 3, and $400 to advocacy to the alternative spring breaks.
There's a motion on the table to allocate $2,100 from quarter 3 with a food waiver and $400 from advocacy to alternative spring break. Is there a second? Second by Vermont. Questions to the wording? Discussion. Kate?
Basically, alternative spring break is supposed to break plan, of doing some community service work around Worcester. They would be staying here, but because the cafeteria is closed, they needed money for food, which is where that $2,100 comes. And that's kind of also the reason for the split. They originally wanted to take all the money out of advocacy, but because advocacy is such a small fund, we wanted to try to pull from 2 different places. So we funded what we could under advocacy and the rest under Core 3. And it just sounded like a really great program. The money will also go to transportation and entertainment for the groups while they're here. T-shirts so they can all look in unison or in style. And is there a representative?
Yeah,
Yes.
basically alternative spring break would give an opportunity for students staying on the campus or who wanted to stay on the campus to volunteer in the city of Worcester, to get to know the city better and to perhaps maybe in the future interact more with the, like the organizations they volunteered with over the break. It would, as she said, the food money would go to food since the dining hall is closed, and it would keep the cost minimal for the participants.
How much would each participant pay if this allocation was granted?
As we don't have all the applications in yet, we don't have our budget all the way down yet. So it'd be about $20 for each participant.
Just adding on that, the number that we were told was about 15%. So we took that into consideration when we were doing it.
Further discussion, Andy?
I have a lot of things done on what we should really do, and possibly said it's a great thing. And also, I've performed benefits for alternative spring break to earn money to cut costs down. Is that something that you guys are planning on doing again? I'm not trying to book a gig, I'm trying to evaluate the size of the requests that you guys are doing. Because I know that in the past, I think my first 2 years here, there was a event held in Bryan to earn money, and I know, my understanding was that those were very successful. Is that something that's happening again, or is that something that, because this is local as opposed to, flying to Biloxi?
Right. So I'm David Coyne, I'm the Hillel director, and Hillel is one of 6 groups that's Coach Chambers. It's open to everybody, you don't have to be a member of the 6 groups. Because we've kept the cost of this so low by keeping it as, the main cost when you're doing like an ASB down to, the Gulf Coast to help build houses after Katrina or something, is travel, there's food, there's all kinds of costs. Hillel in kind is contributing the staffing to support this, not just me, but a second person. And we've got bands from athletics at a cheaper rate than we would have had to get from an outside source. If it wasn't for the fact that dining services was closed, we could probably have brought this whole thing in for under $1,000 total. We're hoping to get 30 students to do it. If we don't get the allocation for the full amount that's been recommended, then we'd have to look at other fundraising because we are trying to keep it as inexpensive as possible for the student participants.
What sort of benefits would this program have if we funded it more than the amount that's been recommended here?
We could let it be free instead of charging a small amount. We thought it made sense for students, although we're offering financial aid, that if there's a student who can't afford anything, that we would waive their fee. We think it also is an indication of students' seriousness and commitment if we can keep it at a reasonable cost. It would cost people more than this for food for the 5 days if they were staying here anyway. So we've made it pretty inexpensive.
Further discussion? Seeing that there is none, all in favor of allocating $2,100 from quarter 3 with a food waiver and $400 from advocacy to the alternative spring break, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? 1 abstention. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Kate?
I would like to move to allocate $4,000 from quarter 3 to the student athletic advisory.
You should make a motion. Yeah. There's a motion on the table to allocate $4,000 from quarter 3 to SAP. Is there a second?
Yep.
Seconded by Malat. Questions to the wording, discussion?
So basically, this is what we just want to vote finance. So it actually does not need to be allocated. It just needs to be brought to the because this is the option that we went with for funding. So, but again, we have our full support for planning the event.
Andy?
Just to make sure we're clear, so we voted that we're funding the full event from finance,
Yep.
so we shall vote no on this. Well, this motion doesn't need to pass, it doesn't matter. Okay.
And
I motion to amend the allocation to a total request of $0.
There's a motion on the table to amend to $0, seconded by Sam. Questions to the wording, discussion? All those in favor of amending to $0, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, abstentions, motion carries. Okay. Is there any further discussion on the recommendation at hand? Okay. All those in favor of allocating $0 to SAC, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, any abstentions? Motion carries. Cool, thanks guys. Kate?
Okay, so the Black Student Union came to us requesting $2,200 to host an event on campus in honor of National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. There's a lot of typos in that. She's got question marks for Spanish. And that should be in honor of, sorry about that guys. Basically, they're having a speaker come on the day. They're going to have free HIV/AIDS testing. They're going to have multiple events, information sessions, a lot of good stuff. It's going to be broken up into 2 parts during the day. And so they're requesting money to pay for the speaker, along with a couple other additional costs like setting up or the fees for food and all that kind of stuff. And it was a really great event, and they had a really great proposal. A lot of thought went into it, so we felt it was necessary and a good idea to fund the entire event. And there is a representative here.
How's it going? I'm Stan Apology. I'm the Vice President of Black Student Union at Clark. So basically, this is the second event for Black History Month, which is in February. It already started from the school's end. There was an event last night. Maybe some of you guys went to it. Anyway, so this event is going to be 2 parts. The first part, we have AIDS Project Worcester coming here, which is a nonprofit that deals primarily with people who are HIV or AIDS positive, outreach, etc. We're going to come in, we're going to do testing from 10 until 2, so we open. It takes 10 minutes, it's going to be a finger prick test, and we get results back in 10 minutes afterwards. They're going to provide a speaker, who's somebody who has experience about the issue and talking about that. They also provide certified staff who do the testing, and also provide counseling and certified for that too, so in case someone does find out positive or negative on that, they can deal with that appropriately. And there's going to be light refreshments, and that's going to be held in 2 of these rooms down here, and then 1 room upstairs, and that's already been booked and taken care of. And then in the evening, we have a representative come from Folks Voice, which is a national organization that does a lot of different issues, and one of the ones that we're having to do and talk about is called what does HIV/AIDS look like? And so these are people, all the speakers either have HIV or AIDS, and so we have a representative coming that's going to share their experience and their story about the day, or representative, and come and talk about their experience and stories. And so we're having that, and that's what the bulk of the funding is actually for, us to provide for that. We've received, I can't remember the specific figure, it's in the proposal, but I've already done at least $1,500 from other organizations and groups on campus, either student clubs or also offices and departments on Clark. So we're just asking for a little bit more funding to make the entire event happen. And then lastly, I guess this is a good event. There's a 12th annual day and nothing ever has been done on campus for this event, so that's why we were trying to push it. Not only for Black History Month, but because of the significance of the event held at Clark. So we're hoping to do this, and so with your funding support, it would make it possible.
Thank you. Further discussion on this one? Seeing that there is none, we'll move in, or actually, Kate, I think you did make a motion, so if you can make that up for me.
I would like to move to allocate $2,200 to Black Student Union.
There's a motion on the table to allocate $2,200 from Floor 3 to DSU. Is there a second? Second by Jean. Questions to the wording? Discussion? Kate?
Yeah.
Further discussion? Okay. All those in favor of allocating $2,200 from Floor 3 to DSU, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? 1 abstention. Motion carries. Thank you so much. Kate?
I would like to move to allocate $500 to SWAT.
There's a motion on the table to allocate $700 from Floor 3 to SWAT. Is there a second? Second to what? Questions to the wording?
came to us requesting $500. Again, a typo, it should say $500 in the, or not $500. So they requested money for a DJ, and some food, I believe. And based on their attendance last year, they had like 290 students who came. There's a lot of support for this event, so we felt, good about providing this full amount. I think Andrew is going to talk a little more about it. That's what I was told. Okay. Then. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't really think we're doing the same, but I don't know, so happy to.
Further discussion or questions for Andrew? Yeah. Or Andrew Shushu, really. All right, so we'll move into voting. All those in favor of allocating $500 from quarter 3 to SPOC, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Great. Thank you so much, Kate. Anything else to report from grants? Nothing to report. Great. All right. So we will move into the financial committee report. Andrew.
Good. So we've made our initial recommendations to clubs, and we're currently in the first appeal process, and we met with the group today to discuss the request, and we're meeting with another one on Monday. So a final report consisting of our recommendations will be issued next meeting, and then we're going to start getting into audits.
And we already allocated money to the Madness. So cool. Thank you so much, Andrew and Leslie, for your work. Let's move into student life. Organizational, Rory?
Yeah, we're our first meeting tomorrow, so we should have stuff going on in the near future.
I've heard that you've been working on office space allocations a bit.
Yeah, we've got that coming up. We've got a divvy up responsibility. It's underway.
That's good. And is the Boston Fest this week or next week?
Next.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Rory, and organizational. We will now move into the judiciary report. Andrew. Thank you, Andrew, and judiciary. And now for internal business. I don't have much to report except that we have CCN back joining us, which is really lovely. Thank you so much, CCN. And so please stay tuned. Check your local listings for CCN.
It'll be up soon.
Sorry?
It'll be up as soon as possible, I promise.
And I've also been talking to some other members of CCN about their upcoming news show. So also stay tuned for that. We're excited for the publicity and for our constituents to know it with all of their money. Alrighty, let's move into the Vice President report. Allie?
I just wanted to thank Steve for braving the snow on Saturday and handling the bus to Boston. Thank you. And also, if you wouldn't mind all emailing your constituents and just reminding them that if the bus to Boston is like 5 minutes, even like 10 minutes late, not to completely freak out. Now that we're moving into like winter weather, things move a little bit slower. And if it's 15 minutes late, then feel free to contact me, or the info desk has all the information to get in touch with the bus driver.
Alright, thank you, Allie. Ryan?
Nothing to report. I just want to thank Andrew for compiling all the mid-semester applications and getting it all prepared and putting together a nice report, which you guys will have next week.
Thank you, Andrew. Hannah?
Okay, so the library thing will happen again first week of April, so April 1st, and that will happen for a month. The second floor of the library will stay open till 1 a.m. So please include that into your email when you send it off. Also, because I won't be here next semester, if anyone could take over my spot to help Joseph out with the library stuff with Gwen, that would be nice. So go talk to Joseph or me after the meeting. And I'm going to need office hours from Jean and Andy, please. Thank you. And thank you for to my communications committee for meeting and doing all that stuff today.
Awesome. All right, we will now move to the elections committee, and we have a new chair.
So today we have a meeting, and next week we're interviewing people for Spray Chair, or a person for Spray Chair. But the most pressing issue right now, elections are coming up for e-board, so that's a lot of what we talked about. Just some important dates for you guys to know in the future. January 30th, we will be officially announcing that elections are starting, so that will basically consists of an email to the student body and a slide in CAF. And you can pick up your petitions, and then petitions will be due February 16th, and that night there will be a meeting for everybody who is running to discuss elections. The debate will be February 20th, which is a Monday night, and then voting will take place on March 1st and 2nd.
Anything else to report?
That's it.
Thank you for going over this position and leading us fearlessly into the future. Alrighty, and to the rest of the elections committee, it seems to be the trend. Thank you guys for your diligence and hard work during the meeting today. Alrighty, let's move into communications committee report. Rebecca?
Okay, so just figured about two to start off. No way not to talk. We are going to be doing a student council event in February on Valentine's Day titled Kisses with Council. I will have a sign-up sheet at the front of the room after the meeting, so if you could come and sign up if you are free between 11 and 5 p.m. or 4 p.m.
Hold on for your webmaster, guys? No?
Oh, no.
That was a mistake.
Just kidding. Alright, so we're gonna move into unfinished business, and there is none, so we'll move into new business. And first on the agenda is Sean Kingston. So as you guys know, we are deliberating about whether or not to spend $4,000 and support a consortium concert, which would lower ticket prices from $40 to $15 for students and provide them with free transportation. So I know that a couple people send out surveys to their constituents with surveys in them and asking them, whether or not they would like to do this. I'd like to hear that feedback, and then we can discuss the matter at length. Steve?
Yeah, I did a dorm walk around with one of my RAs while he was on duty, and I got surprisingly resounding positive feedback that this is something that we should get involved in, and everyone said that if tickets were only, I didn't know the exact ticket price, but I said that it was right now at $40, but if we were willing to get in on this, it would be much cheaper, and they said for that cost to go to a concert with other people in Worcester would be something they would definitely do.
Rebecca?
I sent out an email with a poll also, and only 100 people can vote, so there was more people who came in, but then I would have had to pay. So it was like a 50%, a 58% yes to it, but then I also talked to a lot of people about it, and they said if it costs $5, I would definitely go. So is there any way it could cost $5?
We donate $50,000.
We have to essentially pay $10 on every ticket that was sold. And I wouldn't want to make a commitment not knowing how many people are going to attend, because let's say 100 people did it, that's only $1,000, but let's say half the park did it, then we no longer can financially support that. So I don't know if I would feel comfortable with that. Becca?
Just to clarify, from the poll, after taking stats, I think there's a response bias because people who want to go would probably
click it.
Yeah, click it, and if you see it and you're like, oh, take this poll about Sean Kingston, if you're not interested, you're not going to take the poll. So I think even with that slight, more than 50%, it's people who want to definitely go are more likely to respond.
I also did the math on this, and essentially we need about 100 students to go to make this fiscally sound. In other words, you know, let's say we didn't fund this and we said to everyone that wanted to go, you know, we'll give you $35 towards the price of your ticket and also purchase a bus. So we would need essentially more than 100 people to go to make it a financially sound decision. That being said, there are a lot of other factors too that you can consider. Leo?
I sent an email and I got 10 out of 15 people saying no.
Minerva?
Did you choose the artist? I think only we choose the artist. Who choose the artist?
The consortium as a whole chose the artist. So our votes were taken into consideration, but there are, I think there's 12 colleges in the consortium, and not all of them participated, 13.
I feel like the problem was the artist, and most people do that. They said they can stand only for one song for him. So I think maybe next time you should put the survey on the artist. Then we can discuss about it.
The issue is that even if Clark strongly felt that we wanted to do one particular artist, our vote only counts for, say, a fifth of the consortium vote as a whole. So it's not just our votes that matter. I mean, when we do have a fall concert, for example, then yes, it's only Clark votes, of course, but when we're talking about a consortium event, we're only 1/5 of the opinion, and there's only 1/5 of the vote. So, I understand where you're coming from, for sure. Ryan?
Just to add to the, anecdotally, I spoke to 20, 25 people, and one was really super supportive of Sean Kingston, and the others not so much, so, for what it's worth.
Andy?
I also want to say I talked to, just about everyone that I ran into in the past week about this, and overwhelmingly, there is no support for a Sean Kingston concert from really anyone that I talked to, at least.
Allie?
Just so our discussion kind of can lead to something legitimate, I'm going to move to allocate $4,000 from the programming portion of cumulative surplus for the Worcester Consortium Sean Kingston concert.
Okay, is there a second? Second by Ryan, or second by Rebecca? Okay. Questions to wording, discussion, Allie? Or anyone else?
Carry on through discussion.
Rebecca?
I know in my personal friend group, nobody would go see it, but I went outside of my friend group last weekend. And I asked everybody in this nightclub that I went to, and a lot of them said they would go. So that wasn't really my usual scene, but they were all Clark students. So that's my opinion.
Joseph?
Is there an exact date for this work?
Yes, April 2nd. Thank you. It's a Monday. It's cheaper to get an artist on a Monday than a Wednesday.
Further discussion? Ryan?
This is one of those things that I'm personally pretty ambivalent about. If people want to go, they're welcome to go. I'm not particularly interested, and not many people I spoke to are, so I'll be voting against this. I didn't, Rebecca's ignorant. But just if you have heard positive things, if you think people want to go, and if you think, as Lisa said, that 100 people on Clark's campus want to go, then it's very worth voting for. So.
A couple of things I just want you all to think about when you're making your decision. And I talked to Lisa about a lot of these this morning, so in our one-on-one. Number one is that while the artist may not have been Clark's first, second, third, or fourth choice, I totally get that. And trust me when I say that I and Mike advocate for who your top choices are all the time when it comes to these types of events. Unfortunately, we are working in close proximity with 4 other schools who have vastly different student bodies who prefer different types of music. I know that I solicited feedback as well as Lisa did at one of these meetings regarding available artists, and I put that list of about 20 to 30 names out to the consortium. It got, they found the commonalities among those lists, and it got narrowed down to who was available, who's in our price range, who did most people feel okay with. That's number one regarding the Sean Kingston choice. Number two is I want you to think about this not only as a Sean Kingston concert, but also a consortium event. One of the number one questions I get from new students, transfer students during week one is, how do we interact with the consortium? How can I meet students from other colleges and universities? How can I get off campus? How can I get into Worcester? How do I get to the Hanover? And this program, while not your first concert choice, does fit all of those things that I know are popular topics amongst Clark students. So again, while it's not your number one artist choice, I get it, you don't have to tell me that's not the number one artist choice. Keep in mind that it's not only about the artist, but it's about the experience of going to the Hanover, maybe for the first time for a lot of our students, for only $15. There's free transportation provided, which would not be the case if we subsidized tickets. We'd have to pay for transportation as well. Have students gone to concerts at other schools in the past, Clark students? Yeah, we had about 100 students go to Holy Crosses concert last year. We had maybe 25 or so, maybe a few less go to Holy Crosses, primarily because it was after your finals last year. So students do get off campus, but I think student council really supporting a consortium of them would go a long way. In the past, student council has had not a great relationship with the consortium. You participated with the Woo Bus for a while, and then you pulled your funding, and I can't say folks in the consortium are very happy with us about that. And I'm not saying that it was the wrong decision for council, but participating in an event such as this goes a long way in fostering those relationships across the campuses and to, make them better as time goes on. Last thing I want to say, I think I did everything, is that the Clark Dance Group Critical Mass is opening for Sean Kingston, so that's another thing to take into consideration. They're going to do, I think, 1 or 2 numbers at the top of the show, so just want you to think about those as well in making your decision.
Kate? Steve?
Right. Yeah, I just want to clarify, all the positive feedback that I was getting from Blackstone residents anyway was the fact that it was a way to hang out with other people in the consortium, not necessarily about Sean Kingston. The Sean Kingston feedback was predominantly negative, but when I said it's at a concert, it's going to be cheaper, it's going to be, at a place where you're going to be able to hang out with people from Holy Cross. I think just in terms of a party and a way to get off campus to do something with other people and Worcester, college kids in Worcester, had a huge positive feedback. So that's why I would be voting yes for this.
Right, I'd like to reiterate what Katie and Steve both said. Seeing that when I talk to my constituents, I'd say, hey guys, there's this great concert going on downtown. They're like, oh great, it's only $15, let's go. And I'd say, oh, Sean Kingston, they'd be like, oh, well, maybe I don't want to go. I'm indifferent on the topic, but I think, as Steve said, it's a great opportunity for students to get together, and I believe that we have an obligation as representatives to fund this in full, because if there are, 100 students, 200 students, 300 students, whatever it is that want to attend, and we can make that easier for them, but we should do that.
Further discussion? Steve?
Yeah, just one last quick note. If our participation lowers the cost from $4 to $15, and some people who might not have been able to go if it was $40 at these other schools will be able to go now if it's $15. So just in terms of being a good citizen in our Worcester collegiate community, that'd probably be a good thing to do.
Right?
Correct me if I'm wrong, I think, doesn't it just lower the cost of 15 for Clark students? Right?
If we participate in the concert, the tickets will be $15. If we do not participate in the concert, the tickets will go up for both the public sale, the $40, as well as the other schools, because we're not participating, so prices will go up across the board in terms of, in order for the show to still go on, we're not up.
Further discussion? I understand some of the contentious comments. Any final comments? Seeing that there are none, we'll move into voting. So all in favor of allocating $4,000 from the programming portion of Kimono surplus to fund this Sean Kingston concert, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Any abstentions? 2 abstentions. Motion carries. Alright. So that being said, we will be ramping up our advertising for this. So I don't know if any of you saw the links that I posted on Facebook, but if you could sort of make those known about the group, et cetera, and the communications committee, I'll be looking to you to spearhead publicity, so all of the general things, and perhaps what you can wait a little bit, until we get a little bit closer to the concert, but things, like Facebook, Clark PowerPoint, or Cafeteria PowerPoint, the drill. And also you can mention this in your email, and we really do want to get a large number of our students going to this, not just because we funded it, but also because it is a really great opportunity for them to meet other people and to start getting themselves out into the community. So let's make sure we're all speeds ahead. Okay. And then second of all, which is the last thing on the agenda, is goals. So if you look at this lovely document, it was printed en masse for all of you. And it's basically what we had from last semester, and actually the semester before that, about some things that students want to see changed in their community. And we know that as representatives, we often get bogged down in a lot of sort of housekeeping things at council, figuring out who gets what from when, etc. And also, things like policy validations, which are incredibly important, but don't necessarily speak to the things that students want to see changed on council or on campus, which is one of our unique tasks and sort of a responsibility that we've been endowed with by the voters. So if you look at these, this list of goals, I would appreciate if you could take them to your next committee meeting and as a committee pick one goal that you'd like to tackle for the remainder of the semester and see if you can work to get that accomplished. Your advisors will be on board to help you in terms of, making meetings with administration or figuring out the exact path you need to take in order to accomplish any one of these. But I would appreciate if that could be involved in your next committee meeting, and then we can report next week about which goal every committee has decided to take on. Hannah?
No, I have a comment. I'm looking at this thing and I see a lot of things that people would like to see changed. And I just picked one that's with Joseph last semester and we just worked on it. And even though it's only going to be open for 1 more hour, I think that's important to let them know that you are responding to their needs and, just you are trying to make this a better place. And it will take a long time, but it's just about how much you want to change things and it will get done if you really want to. So.
Yeah, and I mean, as the semester is winding down, I know it just started, but it feels like it's winding down already. For me, it does. Think about what sort of legacy you want to leave for this year as a council, and think about what sort of mark you want to have on this campus. That's important to you. Andy?
I just wanted to echo what you guys said. The project that I was working on 2 semesters ago now, actually it's not done, but there was definitely changes to the program that were instituted as a result of work that I was doing on the shoot. So they take a long time, but they're worth it.
Thank you. Ryan?
And I just wanted to say that I know sometimes it can seem as if things just kind of appear before you and the agenda goes out, the day before, the day of the meeting, and then you have that day to think about it, and you're asked to vote on it. And that's one way to run a council, absolutely, and it works quite well. But I just want to make clear that you as representatives really do have the power to set the agenda of this council. And if you find something that really makes you passionate, you find something that your constituents really want you to do, go do it. And it will be on the agenda, it will be the thing we work on. And you don't have to just wait for a list like this or wait for us and you work to bring you something. You're an equal part in this process, and in fact the most important part of this process. So if you have something you want to do at any time, start working on it. You don't need to ask anyone's permission, just do it.
And to that end, if there is an issue that you want to see discussed during the meeting, please feel free to email me at any point during the week, and I will put it on the agenda. So please know that you do have that flexibility and that responsibility as well. But in terms of action items, if we can all go over these in our next meeting, that would be super lovely. Other comments? Seeing that there are none, we're going to move into Rebecca.
I don't know if this goes now or just final. Just don't forget to sign up.
Right. Okay, so we're going to move into the last words. And we'd like everyone to sign up for times for Kisses with Council. Yes. Okay, other last words. I'm not going to take motions to adjourn just yet. Other last words? Andrew?
The Faculty Finance Committee and Kate have been meeting, that'd be great.
Court?
Next week,
I know all of you at council, because it's on Wednesday, but after that, you guys should all hop on down to the Miller for the Clark University Swim Dive Senior Meet, where yours truly will have a basketball meet of the year and his career. So you guys should come. It'll be fun. That is all.
Wait, when?
Next Wednesday at 6. So after, you have to come after council. Or before. Read it. The council meeting with swim team. That's what I meant.
We should have already dropped.
For those of you that went to the leadership conference today, do you guys have any feedback? Who exactly went? Okay, Rebecca, Andrew. How was it? Did you learn anything that you want to share to the group? Rebecca? Mark?
But I said there was going to be a lot of events in April.
Okay. Andrew?
There's definitely a lot more people than I expected, so it's good to see that there's so many people getting involved and getting to, where finance comes from, and a lot of people moving over to estimates and contact to get in touch with stuff to help her.
Alette, anything you want to say? Katie?
Few things. One, as you probably discussed the last meeting, I apologize for my absence. The Boston bus time is changing beginning on the second trip in February. It will be noon to 8 p.m. Based upon feedback that the Transportation Committee compiled last year. So whoever's doing the bus, not this week, next week, if you want to talk it up with those attending, I'll be sending out an email to all students, letting them know of this change after the next bus. I don't want to confuse them for the bus, the February 2nd bus. So keep that in mind, and let's start to let people know about that. That's starting mid-February. The bus will run noon to 8 p.m. Number 2 is I have updated the class listservs. So first year, sophomore, junior, and senior, your listservs were re-uploaded today in case you had any transfers or new students for the semester, which also means that if you have folks who had emailed you previously and said, oh, I'm not a sophomore, I'm really a junior, or, credit short or too many credits or whatnot, they'll probably be emailing you again because you're going to get the wrong email again. Just forward those on to me and I'll put people where they belong. Usually it happens that somebody's 1 credit short, so they should be on a junior list as opposed to a sophomore list. So just FYI on that. And I would like to see both Becca's after the meeting and I think
I just want to update council as well. You might notice that Devin Coleman is sitting amongst us. He has a class that runs until 9:30 on Wednesday nights, and so he has waived his right to be at the meetings. And he will be joining us if we do continue after 9:30. And he will still be a member of council, but he has waived his right to be at meetings. And the way that's kind of working is that because we have a place open on he's an off-campus representative, and we still have a vacancy for the off-campus representative position. So if that vacancy gets filled and then there is another person that is interested in joining council and can make the meetings, then we'll reevaluate things with Devin. But for now, we feel as though it's a valid decision for him. Further last words? Steve?
Right, so not that being Cupid at Kisses with Council and leaving a legacy behind as a student council member doesn't have its appeal, but I'm going to be resigning as my position as Blackstone Hall representative. I'll be sending an email to my constituents tonight to let them know about the Sean Kingston concert, to thank them and to encourage them, anyone interested in applying, to do so. Thanks to everyone here for an awesome semester in a couple of weeks. I had a really good time. It was very enlightening to see how this is run, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Steve, for your contribution to council. You will be sorely missed, for sure. And please feel free to stop by the council office whenever you want to.
Oh, you'll see plenty of me, everyone, don't you worry.
All right, other last words? Andy? There's a motion on the table to adjourn. Is there a second? Seconded by Joseph. Questions to wording. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Abstentions? Motion
I call for division.
Yes.